These guys actually predate this series. They probably predate everyone in the room except Roy. This is the 50th year for the Hangtown Motocross Classic, so let's give these guys a hand.
Anything big you want to hear about? I'd like to kind of just real briefly run over how Hangtown's coming in. And first, thanks to everybody for showing up. Being the 50th, we've kind of had a lot of extra stress, and I'm expecting way too many people. That's not my phone.
It's part of the job.
Exactly. So just so you guys know, the way Hangtown started, it actually got a group of guys from Southern California. There used to be a big race down there called Hopetown. It was the biggest race of the year. 30,000 people, I'm talking in 67, when Robert and Hallman and all the rest of the guys came over and raced. That was their big debut. And subsequent to that, two of the members from the Dirt Diggers South Motorcycle Club moved north. And they said, we want to start a club up here. Let's call it Dirt Diggers North. Cool. They did that. They said, now let's put on a big race to get all these guys to show up for this nice big race. And we'll call it Hangtown instead of Hopetown, because Hangtown is in Placerville, which is where the very first Hangtown event took place. Next year, we went to Plymouth. And it's been Plymouth for, I think, till 78. Through 78 and 79, we've been here ever since. Anyway, that's how the origination of the event came. That's why it's called Hangtown, even though it's not really in Hangtown. Just a couple miles up the road. This year, everybody has put in so much effort this year. Like I say, you look at those guys are stressed out. You know, we all love it. We do it for the love of the sport. We're not in it to make money. We have lots of groups on the outside, high school football teams that all garbage and that kind of stuff. We donate money to those different charities that help us put this event on. There's 26 members. No way 26 guys could do this big of an event. So all those volunteers really help us to get this thing to come through to fruition. Not a whole lot more to say. Like I said, I'm stoked everybody's here, and I want to see who's going to win one of these wonderful awards.
Thank you. Now, speaking of these wonderful awards, you guys know that Hangtown every year goes over the top. And Jeff, are you going to come up and tell us a little bit about the trophies this year? Charles, where's Charles Stancer? Oh, there you are. Hey. All right. These guys are the new trophy crew, and I know a lot of you guys in here have won some of these trophies before, and this year, as you can see, very special.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was inspired by Bar Top at my home. So, yeah, we looked at the history of the event, like Bob was just describing to you guys about the 50 years, and we wanted to bring natural walnut. We have our designer. He's here somewhere. He was supposed to be up front. There he's coming in the back. And we told him what we wanted. We laid it out. It's walnut with leather engraving all in the back. It's all hand-tooled with brass on the numbers with our dates. And we brought the old gold panner in from the original event. So this really represents the history of the club for over 50 years. Charlie, you're the one who brought me the designer.
Right. Chris, Kendall, why don't you guys step up here real quick? We won't take a lot of time on this, but Chris here is one of the local boys. Used to race out here years in the past. And Kendall, the beautiful lady with him, is the one who actually did the hand tooling on the leather. Like Jeff says, we got together with Chris, and he's a artist, woodworking aficionado, and so we just started putting some ideas together, let Chris run with it, and this is what we came up with, a little heritage so that we can go back to the old Western gold mining days, which when you think of Hangtown, that's what everybody thinks of is gold mining. So anyway, Chris and Kendall are here if you have any questions for them, but I can tell you from the times that Chris and I have spoken that there is, I would say thousands of hours, but hundreds and hundreds of hours to make these appear as good as they do. That's pretty much it.
Thank you, Charles. Yeah, so back to you, Davey. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, hey, Jason Wygant's here, so I don't have to do this anymore. But I do want to bring up the first three riders. Brand new AMA Supercross champion, Jason Anderson. Red Bull KTM's Marvin Musquin.
What's up, buddy? How are you?
And the defending Lucas Oil 450 Pro Motocross champion Eli Tomac of the Monster Energy Kawasaki team. Thanks for coming to work.
All right, coast to coast. As Davey said, welcome to the 50th Hangtown Classic. This is our first panel of riders. Thanks for getting my back, Davey, and Grant Langston. We'll ask a few questions from ourselves, and we'll open it up to the media or anyone else who has questions. We start with these three, Tomac and Musquin, first and second in last year's championship, and Jason, as we mentioned, with a Supercross title under his belt just a few weeks ago. And I actually want to start with you, Jason, because I think the big question is we know the skills are there, but where are you emotionally and focus-wise after having to nail down such an important championship just 2 weeks ago? Where are you at coming into motocross?
The week after the race in Vegas was, it's kind of hard, to get back into the groove.
Yep.
You don't get much time to celebrate, but I'm ready to go, and I didn't get too much time riding outdoors, but I feel like it's enough to really, be battling with the front runners. So. First off, for me, I haven't even won an outdoor yet, so that's step one for me. I want to win one and then go from there. But I feel like I'm ready to battle all summer, and my head's in it, so I'm ready to go.
No championship hangover. You should be good for this.
Yeah, I lasted about a couple days, but we're good now.
Okay. We'll go to Eli Tomac, who's the defending champ. You did nail down this championship last year, but it was an up-and-down season, a roller coaster for everybody involved. So are there things that you learned from last year's run that you can apply to this year?
Yeah, it's if we're in that situation again and we happen to go the last round, in the running, is not take it to that last moto. Last year in the first moto at Indiana, I literally missed that or clinching it in the second moto by that one position. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, are you serious? And then I was kind of reflecting back on Supercross. I was like, this isn't going to happen again, So if we are in that situation again, just get it done early.
What is it that makes this championship so hard to manage? Like, you went 1-1 at Hangtown, and it seemed like, okay, you're on the right track. And there were other races, like, say, Southwick, where you did dominate. And then other weeks, it's not quite the same. What makes this championship so hard to manage week in and week out?
It's just, adapting to each track. A lot of tracks, fit certain guys, better than others. And last year I was kind of up and down with that. Like at Southwick, I'm good in the sand. And then, Washougal, Marv was really good there in that hard pack in that condition. So it's got to be able to adapt each weekend.
Okay.
So I got one for you, Eli. Obviously, like Jason said, champion from last year. Do you feel like that brings a little more extra confidence? Do you feel you're in a better position this year around? Or do you think, I look from the outside and go, wow, there's a lot of depth in the 450 class, which in years gone past, there was maybe 2 or 3 guys that could win. Do you feel like it's going to be tougher, or do you feel like you're in a better position?
It's tough to say off the bat. We have had more time to.
Do you think you're faster than last year?
I hope so. I've had more time to ride motocross this season. So, but you never know until we go race Saturday. So I'm not going to say one way or the other.
I got one for you, Marvin. You've won a lot of races, obviously, in the last few years, whether it be Supercross or motocross. You've shown your pace. You've shown you can win on a variety of tracks, but you haven't quite nailed that big championship yet. As we said, the field is stacked. I think that there's probably at least 5 or 6 riders. I'm sure some of you would agree with that, if not more, possibly given the day. If there was a mud race, a sand day, whatever, it could be a lot more. What do you think is going to take for you to just kind of get that first major championship? You've seen the guys next to you do it. What do you think is that one thing that you need to nail down now?
Well, obviously, injury-free will help this summer. Last year outdoors, I damaged my knee, but I was able to come back and put in some really good races and won some overalls. So it was overall it was a great season last year, but not enough for the championship. But definitely really happy with it last year. At the end of the season, it was great. So I'm looking forward to start it off where we left last year. And but like you mentioned, it's going to be a lot of good guys out there, and it's going to be really good for the fans. Everybody, good battles are coming up for sure. So I'm excited for that.
Is your health great? I know you've had a few injuries over the years. Are you 100%?
Yeah, I'm all good. Yeah, ready.
Jason, you just mentioned, you said you haven't won an outdoor national, and we were talking about that on the phone the other day, and it kind of blew my mind, actually, when you think about it. So, one, you got to get that first win, and two, then you can start thinking about the championship. But we did see last year, before you were injured, besides this race, you were hit with a rock, correct, in the face?
Yeah.
And that kind of took this one out of it. But after that, you rattled off several podiums. Is that in the back of your mind, like, hey, I've almost been there, I know I can do it now?
Yeah, you know, it was even last year. It was kind of frustrating because I feel like I think it was like 5 seconds in a row. So it was a couple 1-2s. I won some motos, so just right there outside of that overall position. But yeah, this year I think I have the potential to win races and be up there battling, and I'm just gonna try my butt off and hopefully it happens. I mean, it's been 8 years racing outdoors, and that's the one thing that I haven't been able to quite get correct is winning outdoor races. So I really want to get that going.
So you would definitely say you're very, very hungry for this championship.
Oh yeah, I'm really hungry. I feel like it's another goal in my career that I want to notch off the list is maybe winning outdoors and hopefully a title.
Cool.
Jason, I even heard you mention Motocross of Nations will be in the United States this year, and there's a little extra motivation to try to prove yourself outdoors because you want to be on that squad.
Yeah, last time I raced the Nations, it didn't go too well. So I kind of, especially it being in our home country, I think that'll be super cool. And obviously Redbud is insane, so it's going to be one that I don't think I want to miss. And I really, really, really want to get picked. But at the same time, if I don't get picked, I'll still probably be there cheering for Team USA.
We have any questions from the press? It's Thursday, so it's a little different schedule than everybody's used to. We normally are going to do these on Friday this year. If you have any questions, I'll run a microphone out to you. I'm just going to ask you, Eli, did you get more motocross prep in this year? Last year, your Supercross championship went down to the wire, so you wanted to stay in that Supercross track, I'm sure, right to the end. Was it different this year?
Yeah, we got a couple more days, but just another year on the motorcycle that we were on last year, it just helps because you know what you're working with. So I think that's the biggest benefactor.
Eli, I know you wrapped up the championship in Indiana, and you've had time to think about it since then, but to show up in the pit area today and the number one down there with the red plate, what's that feel like?
You're definitely the guy with the target on you, I'll tell you that. But I'm gonna do everything I can to keep it.
Eli, I just wanted to ask you about this being the 50th anniversary here at Hangtown. I don't know how much of the history you know about this place and things like that, but considering all the people that have kind of paved their way to make this event what it is every year, and can you talk a little bit about that and what it means to race here and to win here, of course, and hopefully win on the 50th anniversary?
Yeah, it's special. When an event can be around for 50 years, you're at a special place, and it's a good core of people. And this was my first professional win here was at Hangtown too. So, yeah, it's been great.
Jason, if I could follow up a little bit with you on that as well, could you talk a little bit about how much the sport has probably changed since they were here racing 50 years ago?
Yeah, it's changed a lot. Obviously the tracks change, bikes are a lot better nowadays. But yeah, I think it's crazy that we're at such a historic track, and it'll be cool to do some battle here and hopefully take home that win for the 50th anniversary of Hangtown.
How tough is this course in terms of what you guys face week in and week out?
This course is unique. I mean, it's a lot of it gets pretty rough, and it's one of the tougher ones because we're coming off Supercross and it's our first outdoor, so you don't really know what to expect, and it's usually one of the rougher ones. So it's a tough one, and we'll see how it plays out.
Any other questions? All right, that's the first set of our panel. Thank you for the time, gentlemen. We'll bring up our next set of riders. And our next group from Team Honda HRC, we'll welcome Ken Roczen to the stage. Also from Auto Trader Yoshimura JGR Suzuki, Mr. Weston Peick. And from the Monster Energy Factory Yamaha squad, Justin Barcia. Thanks, guys. Found the name tags. Okay. We welcome back Ken Roczen, who is the 2016 champion of this circuit, but did not get to compete last year due to injury, and you're coming back from another injury. So I guess the easy question here is, how long have you been back on the bike, and where are you physically for Saturday's race?
Yeah, it's being on the bike. I was probably about, I would say about 5.5 weeks. But honestly, the first 4 weeks, you could have probably passed me with one hand on the handlebar. I was literally just putting around, kind of having like a tendonitis type thing in my thumb. So it really, like, I could hardly grip the throttle. So I was just really riding just to be on the bike. So just to, obviously that's where I lack the most as of right now, because I've done all the other stuff and there's really only that much you can do, but it ultimately comes down to riding time. And yeah, just within the last few days, did a handful of motos and kind of just am here to race, sit on the bike, be back with the team, and I think most importantly, just enjoy. I think that's my season might start like after Colorado, having a weekend off, and then coming back racing. Up until then, I really just need some riding time and especially racing time.
Were you tempted at all to say, maybe I'll just wait till after the break?
Definitely. I mean, 2 weeks ago, it was almost unrealistic to say, oh, let's go race. I was in no position to do so. But I'm up for the challenge. As of right now, I think it's good enough to where I can hopefully, make it through motos at a decent pace and see where I'm at. Not too far back, but it's hard to really expect anything as of right now, just because I've had a few races and then another injury. And if you look at the big picture in the last, I would say, year and a half, it's been about 5 Supercross races that I've raced. So it's been a while, but I'm almost kind of like just want to start from scratch. Obviously I've raced good outdoors, got a couple of championships, but I'm going to leave that out and just start from scratch, have fun, and just take the experience that I've had from outdoors and start this new season off and stay away from trouble and have fun.
Okay. Weston Peick, we're waiting for that breakthrough, kind of like we talked about with Jason Anderson. He's trying to get that first win. Is this a year you feel you can make that step and start battling for those victories also?
Yeah, obviously that's a step I'd like to take this year, but coming into the series, even Supercross, I tore some tendons in my fingers, so I've been struggling with that injury. So outdoors only makes that a little worse. So I'm just trying to sacrifice the 12 rounds and do as best as I can and have that breakthrough year where I'm finishing, up on the podium consistently. So, like I said, I'm just going to kind of survive outdoors and do the best I can.
So is this something that needs to be fixed eventually? Like, it's not going to heal up as the season goes on?
No, I have to get surgery. I have 2 pulleys torn completely in my hand, so I have to get it fixed after outdoors.
Wow. So how much riding have you done, and how does it feel when you are on the bike?
I've been riding outdoors, so I've been getting 2-3 days a weekend, prior to even when we were running Supercross, just trying to make that transition a little easier for me. So there's a lot of pain in it, especially towards the back half of the motos. It starts hurting, and, the swelling and the numbing and stuff like that doesn't help. But, it's one of those things where you just got to ride through it and put points up.
Okay. And Justin Barcia, you're on a new team this year, and it was looking really good when you jumped on it in Supercross, and then a minor injury, one little thing, ended that. So are you confident you can get right back to basically where you were before you got hurt?
Yeah, for sure. I'm super confident. Had a lot of time to ride outdoors right now. I've been kind of the only guy on the Yamaha team testing-wise, setup and stuff like that on the bike, so I feel like I've done a good job with that. I'm super comfortable. Fitness is great. I'm good at outdoors, and I'm healthy, which is awesome. And, really looking forward to it. I've been, getting more and more comfortable with the team, and, we're ready to do battle for sure this year.
You did come back for Supercross late in the year, but was that full focus, or were you already kind of thinking maybe I can get a head start on motocross at that time?
I felt like I was in a lot better place than I was last year coming back from injury. So Supercross, coming back was okay. Obviously, I, wasn't exactly where I wanted to be coming back with the injury, but definitely was focused on outdoors as well. Definitely this year is the most outdoor riding I've got to do before a season. So it's, the injury is not cool, but it kind of set me up decent for outdoors, which is a good thing.
Ken, a couple questions. I'm sure a lot of people are excited for your return to motocross. It was great seeing you in Supercross, and unfortunately another injury. Obviously, you've now had 2, we could say, relatively serious injuries, one more than the other possibly. How has that taken a toll on your body? Is there a chance that you feel you'll be physically 100%? And on top of that, where does that put you mentally?
Well, obviously, my left arm, as of right now, since I struggled with it in Supercross too, just because I've been pounding on it for quite a while and haven't really given it a rest. And now that that right hand injury happened, it actually had some time to recover, and I gained a little bit more range of motion in the wrist. Still very stiff, but as of riding, it doesn't really bother me at all. It's kind of crazy because a year ago it was looking a whole lot different. So I'm glad that it is the way it is. But having said that, my right hand was pretty destroyed too, more than just a regular handbrake. So that didn't necessarily help. The good thing is that I heal pretty quick, is what the doctor says, because otherwise I probably wouldn't even be here for the first race. But it's good enough to where I can go out and race. And they call me the T-Rex now since I have two messed up arms. But it is what it is. I don't really let it mess with me too much. And I'm normally the kind of guy, obviously, that comes into a new championship and I'm all about it and ready to go. But I was just lacking preparation as of right now on the bike. So I'm kind of just winging it, having some fun, and it's also been a long time since I've ridden outdoors, which, though, I would say personally that this comes a little bit more natural to me just because I have more experience. So it'll be an interesting Saturday, I can tell you that much.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's going to be exciting for all of us, and it sounds like you haven't gone in with the mindset, I'm here to win. It sounds like you're starting off in a good, positive place, and hopefully you'll build on that. And I'll carry on with you, Weston, talking about injuries. You're talking about your fingers and having to have surgery. You said you want to have a good season, possibly a breakout year. Do you think it'll be possible if you're saying, hey, I'm kind of on damage control, can you ride and push it hard enough where you think you can still perform at 100%?
Yeah, I think I could still push as much as I can, to a point and kind of, hopefully get a comfortable, gap between somebody to where I can kind of back off and give my hand a second to rest and whatnot. So that's kind of where I'm at with that is just try to play it safe and ride the best I can and put finishes up there is kind of where I'm sitting with that. So like I said, it's going to be tough. It's not going to be easy. It's the same wrist that I'd broken last year in Supercross, so it's kind of a bummer with that. But, just like I said, just trying to finish out the season pretty strong and get up there.
Do you think coming into the outdoors, I know you said, little damage control with the injury, how do you think your pace is? I mean, we've seen Weston Peick at times show us the pace that he can run up front. You've shown signs of brilliance. You've obviously had some big crashes. We've seen that in the past. We know you have the speed. Do you feel that your pace and your sort of preparation with JGR and the Suzuki and everything is where you'd want to be going to Hangtown?
Yeah, this year I'm feeling really strong. It's a new bike this year, and everything's been coming together pretty well. So I'm happy with the setup, and I've been riding really well at home in practice. So I'm confident with where we're at right now. And obviously it's just getting the first race out of the way and just moving on from there.
Good to hear, Justin. Lovely to see you on the factory Yamaha. It's obviously when we heard about Davey, that was obviously a bummer. But when I heard you got the ride, I still said, man, I hope they made the right choice, which I believe they did. And I think you also surprised a lot of people, including myself, at how you came out and just seemed like overnight there was the old Justin was back, the pace, comfortable there. What was it? I mean, you've been with Yamaha before, you had some success, and all of a sudden it seemed like you went back and straight away you just gelled again.
Yeah, for sure. It was a fresh start, new beginning. Yamaha came out with a new bike as well, so I put in the work and had no injuries before the season and got my confidence back up, and it was that comfort level I got back to ride like myself again. I just kind of lost that for a few years, and it was unfortunate, but I have it back now, and which is awesome. I'm having a lot of fun riding my dirt bike, and it's been a great time.
It seems that way. It's fun to watch too. And you mentioned Yamaha do have a whole new bike. Tell us about that experience. One, getting on the new bike, and how did it, feel almost off the bat?
Yeah, it's been great. We started from scratch with a stock bike and kind of built it up the way we wanted, and it's really not too far off stock, which is pretty cool. We didn't do anything too crazy, and I was able to pretty much be the main guy testing it, and I got it comfortable around my riding style. And the biggest thing for me was the new chassis. It's just easy to turn. When I can have a motorcycle that turns, I can rip it up. So that's always a really fun thing. A motorcycle can jump no matter what, but you need it to turn, and this new Yamaha turns really good. So that was a positive for me. And I was a little nervous at first because I've never really had any luck with that setup. So with the new bike, I was ecstatic right off the bat, and I was ready to go racing and prove that I still had the podium speed and stuff like that. Had a little hiccup in the middle of the season, came back decent, and feel really strong for outdoors, and I'm just ready to throw down, honestly.
Awesome.
One of the interesting things, Justin, is I think people are like, well, his back was up against the wall, so now he has to work harder to get it right. But you've said that you were actually working almost even too hard in the past, and it's not a lack of motivation. That wasn't the problem in the past.
Yeah, I kind of had my back up against the wall before the situation because I was working so hard trying to be better, and I was just, there was nothing else I could really do, and I was just stuck in a tough place, and had to hit the restart button, and everything comes a lot easier to you when you're having a lot of fun and things go your way. Which I had an injury this year, but I still even when I came back, I was having fun. It wasn't like I was didn't want to come back and race Supercross because I did. So that was a good feeling to have because the few years were really hard for me, and it was make or break it pretty much. But I just came back and, like I said, had fun with the Yamaha guys and the team, and it's just been a really good fit, and I'm really really happy about that.
Anybody have questions for our three panelists up here? Ken, Roczen, Justin, Barcia, Weston, Peick. Okay, that's it. Thanks very much for the time, guys. Good luck this season. We will transition to our 250 class, and our first three panelists are going to be last year's champion, the defending champion in the series, Rockstar Energy Husqvarna's Zach Osborne. A new, freshly crowned champion from the 250SX West Division in Supercross of the Monster Energy Star Racing Yamaha team, Aaron Plessinger. And a two-time champion in this series and the runner-up in the 250 class last year, Geico Honda's Jeremy Martin. Bring him up as well. Well, the 250 class, we always talk about how deep and how wide open it is, but all three of these riders have credentials. They've all won championships. Two of the three have won this very championship, so that makes for a pretty interesting season where we've got some established guys. We'll start with you, Zach. Nobody works harder than you. Nobody tries harder than you, but you are trying to make some history here. You're trying to win 4 250 titles in 2 years, 2 in Supercross, 2 in outdoors. That's a pretty big load. How are you able to keep working that hard and not lose sight of it and still continue to have races and have fun at the races under all that kind of pressure?
For sure, the making history thing right now is a lot of what's motivating me. I feel like that would be a pretty big accomplishment, and I'm actually glad that I didn't end up riding the 450 because now it's kind of, I felt like that was the easy road almost. So, to shy away from the pressure and kind of have a summer to sort myself out. But I'm really glad to be here and in what I feel is a really good position as far as physically and mentally goes and with my riding. So for me, it's just, I enjoy coming to the races and laying it out there. This outdoor thing's way more natural to me than Supercross, and I just feel comfortable, and I'm happy to be here.
Aaron, you got a championship under your belt. So same thing we said to Jason Anderson. How do you hit that reset button? That's a big accomplishment, but the season's really only halfway through. So how do you get restarted for this?
Actually, after San Diego, I kind of went into outdoor mode, and
it's like February.
Yeah, and I got a lot of motos in, and I kind of think during that time period, my focus went from more being on Supercross, or from being on Supercross to more so being on motocross, and I just gelled really good with my bike, and I was just pounding out motos, and I think my reset button's hit, and I'm ready to go.
It almost sounds like you're more prepared for this than a lot of riders would be right now. Even though you had that other thing to worry about, you've really been putting in the time.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, after San Diego, we just went to work pretty much, and doing motos every week for all week long, and I think I've done more motos so far than I have in the past 2 years. So safe to say we're pretty prepared.
Cool. Jeremy, it was a great season for you indoors. You won a couple races. Almost got in the position to put some pressure on this guy for the title. Last year you did finish second in this championship. So we always say no matter what, you're always going to bring it outdoors. But is what you accomplished indoors a little bit, giving a little boost as we go out here?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, look at my Supercross season in 2016. I mean, I completely tanked that thing about as bad as you possibly can tank anything. And then we were able to get 2 wins this year, and I credit the guys at Honda. They got that new bike, and we've been riding outdoors since April. So I noticed I can do some things out there that I haven't been able to do probably since 2015. So yeah, we've had fun and just enjoying it.
A year ago, you got to jump on the new generation Honda on a 450 at the Daytona Supercross, and you told me, man, that bike's great. I'm hoping the 250 will be like that when we get a new one. Are you feeling some of those same things that you were so excited about?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the biggest thing is they just improved the whole chassis and the engine package as well. I can drive into some turns harder than I think I've been able to in a while, and not have to worry about a couple things. So the new bike's really, really good, and we get to race the boys. We're here. It's the great outdoors.
Good.
Zach, my question for you is, you've obviously had a phenomenal, past 18 months. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe if you were to win this championship, you'd be the only rider to have won all 4, both indoor and outdoors, in 2 seasons, which would be a record on its own. Do you got that feeling it's 39 riders against Zach Osborne going into 2018?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I start with the 1 in the red plate, so that's obviously an instant kind of bullseye. And I know that everyone, it's not just these 2 guys beside me. There's, 15 or 20 other guys that can be there week in and week out. So for me, I know that historically it takes about 500 points and sort of 5 overalls to win this series, and that's my goal. I'm just gonna go out there, do my own thing, and try to race. Yeah, against myself and not focus on anyone else. Last year, I was able to take 11 podiums, and I think that's a pretty good ratio for this. So for me, I need to just focus on what I know works and go out there and execute.
So you've been working on your riding and your stats. I like that. So, J-Mart, question. You've always been solid outdoors, and your sort of Achilles heel has always been Supercross. Like you said, we don't have to bring it up, but you've had some, even the years where you didn't qualify, and it shocked a lot of us. And but like you said, this year I see a quiet confidence. I've seen your riding, your results improve in Supercross and look really good. I know you said you're happy with the bike. Do you think your riding is good as you ever have coming into Hangtown?
I think so. Yeah, I mean, the goal is we're all racers and we're all athletes, and we train for a reason, and we all want to win, and we just don't train just to train. We train to get better, and I mean, I'm one of those guys that, I mean, I'll work as hard as anyone, So I've been working, and yeah, we're here, and it's going to be a good outdoor season.
Yeah, we're excited. I don't think anyone in the room doubts any of these guys' work ethics up here. So AP, congrats on the title. Good job. I don't think too many people were shocked. You've always been one of the favorites. But what you did this year, which was great, was you put more good starts together, kept you out of trouble and all that. Unfortunately for you, there's no medal grades here at the outdoors. Are you going to be able to pull the starts? Because we know you got the pace.
I think so. Thank you, by the way. But
you've been working on your dirt starts.
Yeah, I've definitely been working on my dirt starts. I actually had a few pretty good starts last year. It was just inconsistent.
Just a few, though.
Yeah, just a few. I've been working on them though. I've been out of the practice track getting them dialed. But
sorry to interject, but do you find yourself changing your start technique from metal grade going back to dirt? I mean, is it less of a clutch slip or?
Yeah, sort of, because if you let the clutch out, if you drop the clutch on great, you're probably going to loop out or quad clutch it or something like that. But now I've been just trying to work on letting the clutch go one time and getting on the gas hard. And yeah, it's not too different, but it's a little different from dirt to great. But now I think I'm pretty confident in my starts right now, and I'm ready to get out here and do some work.
Good to hear. Maybe we'll call him for some whole shot awards.
Maybe. You had 2 good starts. I was at Muddy Creek last year, right? And you went on a win that day. So do you kind of focus on that and say, this is what I know I can do. I just need to do it more consistently throughout the season?
Yeah, for sure. I think my consistency needs to be like all around, not just in starts, but in my riding too, and just being solid, not dropping off the pace, and trying to, pretty sure, stick with these guys. And yeah, I think my season will be pretty good.
Jeremy, you still have a training partner who actually has the number 1 plate in the 450 class. Is that your dangling carrot? You get to chase every day during the week? That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice, you know. Otherwise, I'd probably be back home in Minnesota, riding Millville by myself. But yeah, I mean, Eli's quick. And I mean, Zach knows what it's like riding with him during the week. He's been there before. So, yeah, it's a good training partner. I don't think you're going to find anyone that on the weekend type of deal. So, yeah, I think it's been beneficial, and it's nice to have someone to ride with.
What has your schedule been? Have you been in California a bit, or have you been doing all your work in Colorado at Eli's house? What's the schedule been in the run-up?
Nah, I've been staying out of California. You know, that smog's pretty gnarly down there these days. I've been training up high with Eli, and we'd ride, you know, usually super or outdoors once a week or whatever. So, yeah, the outdoors is finally here. We got 24 motos and 12 rounds, and may the best man win.
And what's your schedule going to be, Aaron? I know last year a lot of the Yamaha guys went to North Carolina. Are you staying west? Have you only been in California during this prep season? What's your plans here?
Yeah, I've been in California since September last year, and staying out there for the whole season. So it'll be pretty interesting, but yeah, I'm excited for it.
And what's your plan? Were you in Florida a bunch? Have you been in California this whole time? What's your game plan?
I've just been in Florida since Vegas. I didn't really do any preseason testing, just kind of going to start where I left off last year with the bike, and I feel pretty comfortable with that. And it's something that I know very well, and I've put a lot of time into developing, so that's where I'm going to start.
Didn't you do that last year?
Yeah.
So when did the testing ever happen? Or are you literally riding the same bike you had at this time last year?
No, I changed my one shock setting after Colorado. So I guess you could say it's also the bike I ended up with in 2016, except for the shock. So.
Wow.
It's been a progression.
Okay, that's it. That's pretty much all you've changed in almost 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, we got a new head from Austria in the off season this year, but as far as like actual setup goes, that's it.
Wow. Okay. Well, it worked. Worked last year, right? We have any questions for our 3 250 riders on the stage? All right. Thanks very much for the time, gentlemen. We'll see you out on the track in a little bit. And one more group of 250 riders that we want to speak to before we let everybody go and ride. Man who's won a lot of races in this championship, certainly will be in the fight for the title this year from Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki. We'll welcome Joey Savatgy. This rider was actually runner-up for most of last year's championship until a late injury sapped his title hopes from the Troy Lee Designs Red Bull KTM team, Alex Martin. And representing Auto Trader Yoshimura JGR Suzuki, we'll welcome Justin Hill. Okay, so a good collection of talent in the 250 class. As always, different backgrounds, different levels of experience. These 3 guys are not strangers to winning races. I'll start with you, Joey. 2 years ago, you came out of Hangtown and rolled everybody. Last year was a little bit more of a struggle. So is Hangtown your track? Is it not your track? Was it just a good year 2 years ago? Because you do have success here in the past.
I mean, I'd like to think every track's my track. It's just it's a matter of putting it together, and it's easy to not easy to win, but it's a lot more enjoyable, and it feels a lot easier after the fact when you win, when you're enjoying it and everything's clicking, and when things aren't clicking, it's tough. But no, I mean, for me personally, honestly, I feel like I have the ability, and if I put myself in good positions, I can win every weekend. I think if we look back at everywhere where I've won it. I mean, it's got to be over half. So for me, I'm a good starter. I wish the greats were outdoor. Don't get me wrong. But no, I mean, I feel like we got some good testing in this last week. And other than that, it's just we're here and we got a long season ahead of us, so got to take it race by race.
Yeah, what lessons did you learn? You led the points for almost half the year in 2016. So what did you learn from that? If you're in that position again, are there things you would do differently if you get in that position?
Yeah, I mean, minimizing bad weekends. Like as you said, we came out of here in 16, went 1-1, and walked out of here feeling good. And then obviously went to Glen Helen, and that was honestly that was one of those deals where track wasn't super friendly to passing, and it was when they had all those big jumps. And for whatever reason, I didn't get good starts that weekend, and I don't remember what kind of point lead we had, but we lost it. And then, we rallied. We went to Colorado. We won that one. We went to High Point. We won that one. And went to Muddy Creek, second overall there. So, I think we made a good run. And, I mean, looking back on it, it's just minimizing bad weekends, Can't give away too many points, especially if you have points built up.
We'll swing it over to Alex. And, I think people might have forgotten you were second in the series last year for most of it. But it doesn't show that in the final results because you got hurt there right at the end. It was your first year with this KTM team. So can you continue where you left off before that injury? Do you feel you're back at that level you were a year ago?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a bit of a rocky year for me with the collarbone injury at A1, and then again came back at San Diego and broke my scaphoid. So at that point, we kind of decided with the scaphoid being kind of a long-term injury, that get that healed up and no more Supercross, which was tough pill to swallow. It's hard because I haven't been able to showcase the level of comfort and everything that I've felt on the KTM this year. But at the same time, it allowed me a pretty darn good build-up period for outdoors. I've got so many 35-minute motos in this bod, that we're ready to go fitness-wise. Came out to California maybe 5-6 weeks ago, and we did a lot of testing right away. And got a pretty good setup, definitely a lot more comfortable on the bike now than I was last year. So, overall fitness, comfort on the bike, everything seems to be kind of going in the right direction, and now it's just time to get it done.
Do you think back where you were like 4 or 5 years ago and how different it is to be coming to the opener 3 or 4 years in a row now saying, yeah, I can win races, I can win this title. It's been a dramatic change, but now you've maintained that level for the last couple of years. It's amazing how far it's come.
Yeah, I think it's no secret that I'm one of the older guys in the class, but at the same time, being a privateer for literally 7 years, I've been on a factory team for 3 years now, so I'm kind of a rookie in terms of being on factory equipment. And actually even having the mentality required to go for championships. That's still new to me, So being that I am a little bit older, I do have that experience from the privateer days, but overall, now we're in the hunt, and we take this serious, and, everything is, there's a lot more on the line and a lot more expectations, but, I have it no other way.
And we'll go to Justin. You had a championship in Supercross to defend this year, and it didn't work out. You did get a race win. We didn't see as much outdoors as we saw from you in Supercross last year. What's going to be the change this year that makes a difference and allows you to run up front outdoors consistently?
How I feel, I guess. I just go, I feel really good. I've been riding as much outdoors as we could get in, and the change in location. I'm out on the East Coast now. It's hot. Tracks are rough. We get the good testing in, so I feel really good about that part. Last year I was just kind of miserable out in SoCal riding I don't gel with that place very much for outdoors, so so I got to the East Coast. I've been feeling good. Been doing some cycles with old Phil, and just got I think I got a better base fitness this time. And I'm on a Suzuki, and that thing handles so good, dude. I'm just throwing it into corners and not even thinking about it. Does it for me. So I'm really happy about that. I think that'll be a good change.
Yeah, when you switched to the team, you actually identified that as one of the main advantages of having an East Coast base to work out of, specifically for outdoors. So are you glad you did that, or when you're in that humidity, are you like, man, this is hard?
I'm glad until about 1 o'clock when it's just killing you, and then but in the end of the day, that's the whole point. I did it for a reason, and I hope it helps me. If it didn't help me, it's just a bunch of misery for nothing, right?
This is new for your team to have a 250 effort at this level. and you're kind of the leader of that outfit. So does that put a little pressure on your shoulders to show how it's done out here?
Absolutely. You know, I'm trying to help them make the team viable and bring it to where it needs to be. And it's truly the first year for us. You know, they helped the team, you know, last year a little bit, but this is the first year, and it's gone well. We got podiums, and I got a win on it, and it's becoming good already, and I think it'll continue to go up that. You got a group of people that love to work hard, and they love to see the bike do well, and they like to see people win. So as we keep going along, I'm trying to help as much as I can. You know, it's tough though. You know, these racing with these guys, it doesn't lend itself to just floating through. Like, you really have to have everything in a row, all your ducks in a row to get it done. So I feel like I've definitely made progress, and I've learned a lot. It's weird, I say it every year. I learned a lot. Yeah, you learn a lot every single year. It's like you never stop.
Got some questions, Grant?
Yeah. So, hi, guys. Joey, a question for you. You've obviously proven to everybody that you can win indoors, you can win outdoors. You've won a lot of races, and on your day, you've been great. However, like you said, you've made those mistakes, and it's cost you. So my question is, do you go back and study some of that footage? And if you do you ever learn or see something that makes you think, I'm going to approach it differently moving forward? And if you did, has your mindset changed this year?
That was a lot of questions.
Yeah.
No, I mean, absolutely. You know, obviously, you never want to go back and watch bad races, but I think, you know, they always say you win your championships on your bad day, but you also learn the most, I think, on those bad weekends too. I don't know. I mean, I've definitely looked back and watched and learned, and like I said, I've proven that I can win, and like I said earlier, I think I've won it. I mean, I don't know how many, but a lot. And just minimizing bad weekends, and whether that be, you know, it's only going to give us a fourth or whatever it be, you know, it's just something that you have to just be open with that mindset and think about the big picture. And you know, it's frustrating. We had some stuff go on for Supercross, and you know, I didn't get as much outdoor riding during that break as I wanted to. I took 3 weeks off after San Diego with a hand injury and stuff, so you know, we didn't get as much as maybe we wanted, but in hindsight, it's almost a blessing. You know, we kind of get to recharge the batteries and start fresh. So you know, we got a good week of testing, and like I said, I've learned and know what I need to do to be there at the end, and looking forward to it.
Cool. We actually got to let these guys go ride. I'm going to invite Davey up in a minute here just to put some closing words, so we'll let you guys be able to get geared up and get out on the track, and the photographers and video people can get out there as well. But I'll turn it back over to Davey.
Hey, thanks. Real quick, this is not good news. They say bad things happen in threes. I just found out, some of you probably heard, Jim Hale, who was the founder of Mechanics Wear, Axo in the USA, Renthal, he passed away in Las Vegas last night. Then we found out that Tony Miller, the promoter of Freestone Motocross Park in Texas, a longtime national promoter, he lost his battle with Lou Gehrig's disease last night. And then you're not going to believe this, but Brian Swink passed away last night in Michigan. He was the 1991-1992 AMA Supercross champion and former national winner. Shitty day.
Not much more to say. We'll certainly honor them this weekend, but Godspeed to Brian Swink, to Jim Hale, and to Tony Miller. We'll get these guys a chance to get geared up and go out on the track, and we'll continue the history here at Hangtown. Thanks for coming out for our press conference. Thanks, everybody.